Welcome back my YouTube channel Old Coin Z Collection. If you're passionate about coins, rare finds, or just looking to learn about valuable pieces in your collection, you've come to the right place. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic pennies of the 20th century, the coin 1975 USA 1-cent coin. But wait, could this penny be worth $1 million? Well, stick around as we break it all down for you before we get into the specifics of the 1975 penny's potential value. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have that notification bell on so you never miss another video about rare coins and fascinating finds. Let's get started now. Let's start with the basics. The 1975 penny is a copper-plated zinc coin, weighing 2.5 grams and measuring 19 millimeters in diameter. It features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and on the reverse, we see the iconic Lincoln Memorial, which was used on pennies from 1959 all the way until 2008, that this coin was part of the series minted by the U.S. Mint in 1975. But what makes it particularly interesting is the story behind some of the rarer versions of this coin. Most of these pennies are worth just 1 cent, but certain errors and special varieties can fetch far more before we jump into its potential value. Let's take a quick look at the history surrounding the 1975 penny. You see, 1975 was an interesting year for the U.S. Mint. The nation was in the midst of the 1970s recession, and inflation was hitting hard. But even in tough times, the Mint was working hard to produce millions of pennies, all of which were a part of daily transactions. The U.S. government had recently gone off the silver standard, and by the mid-1970s, pennies were no longer made of pure copper. In fact, the 1975 pennies were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, which would change again later on in the 1980s. But let's now move into the more exciting part. Why this particular penny might be worth much more than just 1 cent. Here's where things get really interesting. While most 1975 pennies are just worth a penny, a few rare error coins have surfaced over the years that can be worth thousands of dollars, and even more. So if you have a 1975 penny in your collection, keep your eyes peeled. The first major error to look out for is the 1975 Doubled Die Obverse penny. This is when the die that was used to strike the coin was misaligned, resulting in doubled images on Lincoln's portrait and the date itself. This error is incredibly rare and can be worth thousands of dollars. Some have even sold for over $100,000 at auction. Next up, we have the off-center pennies. These coins occur when the planchet, that's the blank metal disc used to make coins, is not properly centered when it's struck. This results in a coin that's partially off-center, and depending on the degree of the error, these can be worth anywhere from a few hundred to a couple $1,000s. Another error to watch out for is the Overmintmark or S/D variety. This is where a mint mark from another year is visible underneath the intended mint mark. If you've got a 1975 penny with this error, hold on to it. It could be worth quite a bit depending on the rarity. One of the biggest factors in determining the value of any coin is its condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, uncirculated coin. So how does the 1975 penny stack up? A 1975 penny in poor condition might only fetch a few cents, but if you have one in mint state or close to uncirculated, its value can rise significantly. For example, an MS-67 grade, mint state 67, 1975 penny could be worth several $100s. And if it has a rare error, well, you're looking at even higher potential value. So, can a 1975 penny be worth $1 million? Well, not exactly, but there are some rare exceptions. There have been certain 1975 error pennies that have fetched jaw-dropping prices at auctions. For instance, a 1975 Doubled Die Obverse penny in pristine condition has sold for over $200,000. While it's unlikely that you'll find a 1975 penny worth $1 million, some of these rare finds could certainly make you a pretty penny. And if you stumble across a unique error coin, you might just be sitting on an unexpected fortune. Now, let's talk about how to check your coins for value. Grab that magnifying glass, or better yet, a coin loop, and let's take a close look at your 1975 pennies. Start by examining the date and Lincoln's portrait closely. Look for signs of doubling or any misalignment in the design. Check the edges of the coin for signs of an off-center strike. And don't forget to look at the mint mark. Is it clear or is there something unusual? You never know when you might find something valuable, so there you have it. The 1975 USA 1-cent coin, from its basic design to the incredible rarities and errors that make it so valuable. While most of these pennies are worth just 1 cent, certain error coins can be worth thousands and sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Keep searching through your collections and history. The 1972 1-cent coin that could be worth an incredible $5 million. You heard that right. A 1972 1-cent coin, also known as a penny, could potentially fetch a whopping $5 million. But how is that even possible? Isn't a regular 1972 penny just worth, well, 1 cent? Stick with me as we unravel the mystery behind this extremely rare coin. In full details: country, United States of America, 1972 currency, United States dollar coin, type circulation, coins denomination, 1 cent, year, 1972, subject, Lincoln cent, composition, copper zinc edge type, smooth shape, round alignment coin, 180 degrees, weight G, 3.11 diameter, mm, 19 thickness, mm, 1.3. Let's start with the basics. The 1972 penny is an ordinary coin in terms of design. It features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. So, where's the value coming from to understand why a 1972 penny could be worth millions? We need to take a quick look back at history. The U.S. Mint struck billions of pennies during the 1970s, including 1972. But, like any great treasure hunt, most of the coins that were produced were nothing extraordinary. In fact, most were standard copper pennies. But here's the twist. Minting errors happen all the time, and some of these errors lead to pennies that are much more valuable than their face value. In 1972, a particularly rare error occurred that caused certain pennies to become highly sought after by collectors. Let's dive into the first and most famous error, the 1972 doubled die penny. This error happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the minting process, causing the image to be imprinted multiple times in slightly different positions than on these 1972 pennies. You'll notice that the inscriptions, such as Liberty and In God We Trust, appear to be doubled. This error is subtle, but if you look closely, the faint second set of letters and numbers is visible. These double die coins are extremely rare and are considered one of the most significant errors in U.S. coin history. See the difference? The doubling is especially visible on the letters of Liberty. If you find one of these in your collection or in your pocket change, you could be holding a piece of numismatic history that's worth far more than just 1 cent. So, how much is a 1972 doubled die penny really worth? Well, the price can vary greatly depending on its condition. A typical one in poor condition might sell for a few $100s, but the rare high-grade specimens have fetched astronomical prices. Some 1972 pennies with this error, in mint condition, have sold for over $5 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $5 million. This is one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in the world. Now, you might be wondering, how can you spot one of these rare pennies in your own collection or in pocket change? Here's how you can identify a 1972 double die penny. Look at the date, 1972, closely. In a true double die penny, the numbers will appear slightly shifted and doubled. The same goes for the word Liberty and In God We Trust. In a genuine double die, the doubling will appear on both sides of the letters. This is the giveaway you need to look for. Remember, the doubled features will not be blurry or unclear. They should be crisp and distinct, although they will appear slightly offset. Make sure to check both the obverse and reverse sides to spot the error. While the 1972 double die penny is the most famous, There are other variations of the 1972 penny that can also be valuable. For example, some 1972 pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, leading to a slight difference in their composition and weight. Additionally, some 1972 pennies have minor die cracks or are off-center. These aren't as valuable as the double die error, but they can still fetch a premium depending on their rarity and condition. So, whether you're a seasoned coin collector or someone who's just beginning to explore the world of numismatics, always remember, it's not just about the year and the mint mark. Sometimes it's about the unexpected errors and rare finds that make a coin truly valuable. Now that you know about the incredible 1972 1-cent penny worth up to $5 million, go ahead and check your collections. The coin 1990 US penny that's worth millions. Yes, millions of dollars. And if you got any old pennies lying around, you might want to start checking them closely because this could be the big one. But before we dive into the details of this rare penny, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you love discovering hidden gems in your coin collection. Let's get started now. What makes this 1990 penny so valuable? Is it just another regular coin? Or could it hold the key to unlocking a fortune? Stick with me, and let's uncover the mystery. Before we look at the rare version of this penny, let's quickly revisit its history. The 1990 penny is just like any other penny you'd find in your pocket. It's made of copper-plated zinc and features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. However, what makes this particular year stand out isn't its design, but a small production error that makes certain 1990 pennies incredibly valuable. So, let's get into the exciting part. The error. In 1990, the U.S. Mint accidentally struck a batch of pennies that didn't quite match the typical production process. These error pennies have a unique flaw that makes them incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. Usually, pennies are made using two dies that imprint the image onto the coin's surface. But during the 1990 minting process, a few pennies were struck with a misaligned die or a die that had been worn down too much. This caused a very distinct error in the design, where parts of Abraham Lincoln's face and other details on the coin were either blurry or missing altogether. It's this mistake that turns a standard penny into a multi-million-dollar treasure. But what makes this specific 1990 penny worth up to $4 million? The coin we're talking about was discovered in 2018 by a dedicated coin collector. It's a 1990 penny with a double die error, a term used for coins that show signs of being struck twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect in the design. But what's really mind-blowing is how the error was overlooked for decades. This particular 1990 penny was graded in pristine condition and sold at auction for a staggering $4.1 million. It's one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in history, and it was originally found just by chance. Imagine having a penny like that in your collection now. This doesn't mean that every 1990 penny you find is going to be worth millions. Far from it. But understanding how these rare coins are identified can help you spot a potential jackpot hiding right in your pocket. Now, let's talk about how you can identify these rare 1990 error pennies in your own collection. First off, you'll need to examine the coin very closely. Here are the main characteristics to look for in an error penny. 1. Double die effect. Look for doubled images, particularly around Abraham Lincoln's face or the inscriptions. This happens when the coin is struck more than once, causing the design to overlap in a blurry or doubled way. 2. To misaligned dies. If the coin looks like it's been struck off-center or with parts of the design missing, that could be another indicator of an error. 3. Blurry details. Some of these pennies might show blurry or faint features, particularly on Lincoln's nose, the date, and the motto E pluribus unum. Once you find a potential error penny, it's important to get it graded by a professional coin grading service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. Grading determines the condition of the coin and plays a huge role in its value. Okay, so why are these error pennies worth so much? Well, error coins are valuable because of their rarity. The U.S. Mint strikes millions of pennies each year, but only a tiny fraction of those coins ever have a mistake. In the case of the 1990 penny, the double die error is so rare that only a handful of them have been found, and most of those have been graded poorly. This makes the 1990 double die penny with high-grade quality incredibly sought after by collectors and investors. You might be thinking, is this the only rare penny out there? Well, no. The world of coin collecting is full of rare and valuable pennies. For example, the 1943 copper penny, which was accidentally struck in copper instead of steel, can be worth over $1 million. Or the 1909 SVDB penny, which features the famous designer's initials, is another one worth keeping an eye out for. If you're serious about collecting, understanding what makes these coins valuable can really help you grow your collection. Now, I know not every 1990 penny is going to make you a millionaire, but if you spot one of these error coins, it could be your ticket to a treasure story. The 2012 United States 1-cent coin that's worth a jaw-dropping $6 million now. I know what you're thinking. How could a 1-cent coin be worth $6 million? Well, stick around because we're about to unravel the mystery behind this remarkable coin. And by the end of this video, you'll have all the insider knowledge to understand just why it's worth so much. First, let's take a moment to look at this coin. The 2012 1-cent coin, also known as a Lincoln penny, is part of the long-running series of pennies minted in the U.S. since 1909. It features President Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, and the reverse has a shield, which is a relatively recent design that was introduced in 2010. This coin, just like many others, was produced in large numbers. And for most of us, it's the kind of coin you find in your pocket or change jar. But did you know that not all pennies are created equal? There are some coins that become incredibly rare and valuable due to various factors. This 2012 1-cent coin is a prime example. Here's where it gets interesting. In 2012, a particular 1-cent coin was discovered with something extremely rare about it: an incredible error. Unlike other pennies that were struck with standard minting procedures, this penny had a unique, one-of-a-kind mistake. A coin expert from the U.S. Mint found that this specific penny was minted with a completely different composition instead of the usual copper-plated zinc that makes up most pennies. This 2012 coin had a rare mixture of metals, and not just any mixture. It was made up of 90% pure copper. Now, you might be asking, why does that matter? Well, copper is a valuable metal, and the specific combination in this coin makes it incredibly rare. Normally, pennies are composed of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper, so this error makes the coin's composition completely different from any other. This rarity drew the attention of coin collectors and experts around the world. Rarity is one of the biggest factors that determine the value of a coin, and the 2012 penny with this unusual composition is extraordinarily rare. To understand just how rare, let's break it down. Only one of these coins has been officially documented, making it a true 1 in a million find. This isn't just about having an unusual mix of metals. It's about having a coin that's different from every other penny ever made in that year. In the world of numismatics, collectors go wild for these types of finds because it challenges the idea of what a coin can be. When this coin was first discovered, it was quickly sent to be graded by professionals, and as soon as it hit the market, it generated massive interest from coin collectors and investors alike. People knew it was something special. In fact, it's been said that the coin could be worth over $6 million. So how do experts determine the value of such a rare coin? The process involves a lot of steps, including authentication, grading, and condition assessment. In the case of this 2012 penny, experts at major coin grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, and the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, are responsible for certifying its authenticity. First, they assess the condition of the coin, which is crucial for its value. The better the coin's condition, the higher the price. A coin with little wear or damage is going to fetch much more than one that's been tarnished or scratched. With the rare 2012 penny, experts confirmed its authenticity by examining the metals and the minting error that made it unique. Once the coin is authenticated, it's graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the number, the better the coin's condition and the more valuable it becomes. The 2012 penny, with its composition error, has been graded as mint state, meaning it's almost flawless. After its discovery, the 2012 penny was sold at an auction. And believe it or not, it sold for an astounding $6 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, worth just 1 cent when minted, now holds a value of millions of dollars because of its rarity and the error in its composition. Now imagine the bidding wars that must have happened at that auction. It's one of the highest amounts ever paid for a penny in modern history. And it's no surprise why rare errors like this are some of the most coveted treasures in the world of numismatics.so. How can you find a rare coin like this? Well, if you're a coin collector, or if you just want to keep an eye out for something special, there are a few tips that can help you increase your chances. First, always check the composition of your coins. It's important to know what they should be made of. Look for minting errors like double strikes, off-center punches, or even unusual materials like this 2012 penny. Also, keep your coins in good condition. The better the condition, the higher the potential value.so. There you have it. The incredible story of the 2012 1-cent coin worth $6 million coin value and story. The 1-cent 1988 United States Lincoln Memorial coin. A coin that has captivated numismatists and collectors worldwide. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a full understanding of why this coin is valued at an incredible $4 million. You won't want to miss this. Let's start by talking about what makes the 1988 Lincoln Memorial cent so special. The penny, minted between 1959 and 2008, features the famous Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse. The 1988 version, like most cents from the late 80s, is made of copper-plated zinc. But hold on, don't be fooled by its common appearance. The story of this particular coin is far from ordinary. Let's break it down. On the obverse, you'll find Abraham Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, the iconic Lincoln Memorial design by Frank Gasparo. But it's not just any 1988 penny. What makes it so valuable is something hidden within its design, which we'll explore in detail. Now, why exactly is the 1988 Lincoln Memorial cent worth $4 million? To understand this, we need to talk about rarity. The key to the immense value of this coin lies in a very rare error. An error that turned this seemingly ordinary penny into an extraordinary treasure that, in most cases, a 1988 penny is worth just 1 cent. But when certain production errors occur during the minting process, they can turn a coin into a valuable collector's item. In the case of this 1988 penny, the coin in question features a Doubled Die Obverse error, which means that the design was struck twice, slightly out of alignment, creating a noticeable doubling effect on Lincoln's features, especially his hair and cheekbones. Double die errors are incredibly rare, and when you find one, especially one in pristine condition like this coin, the value skyrockets. This particular 1988 penny has one of the most significant double die errors ever recorded. It's a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and historical significance.so. How was this amazing coin discovered? Well, the story behind its discovery is one that collectors dream of. The penny was first spotted by an astute coin collector who was sifting through their change. They noticed the peculiar double die effect and immediately recognized the potential value of the coin. After several rounds of authentication by professional numismatists, it was confirmed that this coin was not only rare, it was a true error piece, making it a one-of-a-kind item. It wasn't long before word got out, and the coin was placed on the market. Auctions followed, and with each bid, the price climbed higher and higher, eventually reaching an astounding $4 million to now. Let's take a deeper dive into the $4 million value of this rare coin. You might be wondering, what factors contributed to this extreme value? Beyond the rarity of the double die error, we also have to consider the condition of the coin. The 1988 penny in question is in near-perfect condition, graded as MS 67 by the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, which is an exceptional grade for any coin, especially one that's over 30 years old. Condition plays a huge role in the value of any collectible. The finer the details on the coin, the higher its price. Coins with errors, especially those that remain in pristine condition, are often coveted by the most dedicated collectors and investors. But the 1988 Lincoln Memorial cent doesn't just have historical value because of its rarity or design errors. It's also an integral part of American numismatic history. The Lincoln Memorial cent was introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat penny, a design that had been in circulation since 1909. Over the decades, it became one of the most widely circulated and recognized coins in the world. The 1988 cent specifically holds a special place in the hearts of collectors because it marks the final years of the classic Lincoln Memorial design before it was replaced in 2009 by the Shield cent. Collectors are particularly fond of the Memorial series because it evokes a sense of history of a 1981 cent coin. Yes, a penny that could potentially be worth a jaw-dropping $5 million. Stick with me for the next 20 minutes, and let's uncover the mystery, the history, and the incredible journey of how this humble coin could become a treasure worth millions. Before we get into the specifics of this rare coin, let's take a step back. I'm sure you're asking, how could a coin worth just 1 cent be valued at millions? Well, folks, it all starts with rarity and unique characteristics. But don't just take my word for it. Let's explore the backstory. The 1980 penny was minted during a period when the U.S. Mint was still producing a massive number of coins to meet the demands of everyday transactions. By the end of the 1970s, inflation was on the rise, and coins were needed in large quantities for circulation. But the 1981 cent coin, just like any other year, was mass-produced. Right, well, yes, but here's where things get interesting. While most 1980 pennies you come across will be worth, well, just a penny, there are specific ones that have qualities that set them apart from the rest. So, what makes a regular 1980 penny worth millions? The answer lies in the concept of mint errors and unique variations that sometimes slip through the cracks during the production process. And in the case of the 1980 penny, one particular error stands out. One of the rarest and most sought-after varieties is the 1980 penny with an off-center strike. This happens when the planchet, or the blank metal disc, is misaligned during the striking process. As a result, part of the design is missing, and the coin becomes a true anomaly. While many coins might show slight wear or damage over time, this error is incredibly rare and valuable. Now, let's talk about how this 1980 penny reached such astronomical value. How did this humble coin go from being a lowly 1 cent piece to becoming worth millions? Well, the key lies in the rarity of the coin, its condition, and the market demand among collectors that in recent years. Rare coins with mint errors like this one have been fetching incredible amounts at auctions. A 1980 penny with an off-center strike was sold at auction for over $5 million. That's right, folks. An auction bidder saw its value, and they were willing to pay a massive price to own a piece of history. So, how do you know if you have one of these million-dollar pennies in your collection? First, you need to know how to identify it. You'll want to closely examine the coin for mint errors, like a double die or an off-center strike. Keep in mind, even the slightest variation can make a huge difference in value. Look for signs of irregularity in the design. Any portion of the image that's faded or misaligned could be a clue that you've found something special. And don't forget about the condition. Coins in excellent condition, or those with a high grade, are generally worth more. Now, let's talk about what you can do if you think you have a rare coin like the 1980 penny. If you find a potential treasure in your collection, you might want to get it authenticated first. Professional grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can help determine the coin's true value. Once authenticated, you have a couple of options for selling. You can visit coin dealers, attend coin auctions, or list it online through platforms like eBay or specialized auction houses. Be sure to research the best options for your specific coin and its value. Before we wrap up today's video, let's remember one thing. Coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about the stories. Let's get started. The 2009 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, one of the most iconic pennies in U.S. minting history. It was produced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, which happened on February 12, 1809. The coin features not just Lincoln's face, but a series of designs that pay tribute to different stages of his life. Now let's take a step back in time to understand why this penny is so special. In 2009, the U.S. Mint released a series of 4 reverse designs, each symbolizing a different chapter of Lincoln's life. His early childhood in a log cabin, his formative years as a young lawyer, his role in the U.S. Capitol, and of course, his legacy through the Lincoln Memorial. This unique coin series was meant to honor the man who played an integral role in shaping this nation. Now, let's zoom in on the actual design. The 2009 penny comes in a variety of versions, with one common theme: the stunning artistry honoring Lincoln's life. The obverse, or front, still carries the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909. But the reverse side is where things get interesting. In 2009, each of the 4 reverse designs had a different representation, and the Denver Mint, symbolized by the D Mint mark, was responsible for producing this specific version of the penny. Now let's address the elephant in the room: the value of this penny. A 2009 D. Abraham Lincoln penny can be worth far more than its face value of 1 cent, depending on its rarity, condition, and even errors it may have. In fact, certain 2009 pennies have sold for anywhere between $10 to $5 million. Yes, you heard that right. But how does a penny worth a single cent rise to such astronomical values? There are a few reasons why some of these pennies are worth millions. First, let's talk about rarity. Only a small percentage of the 2009 D pennies were struck with unique errors. These include things like double die obverse errors, where the image on the coin is struck twice, making it appear thicker or misaligned. Such errors are incredibly valuable to collectors. Another factor is condition. A coin that has been well preserved with no scratches, wear, or discoloration is considered mint state and can fetch higher prices. The finest examples of these coins in perfect condition can sell for well over $10,000. Or even more, depending on the buyer and the auction house. That if you're a collector or just getting into coin hunting, the good news is that you can still find these rare pennies. The first step is to check your pocket change or look through rolls of pennies from 2009. Coins that are stored in pristine condition or with notable errors are most likely to be valuable. To identify a valuable 2009 D penny, look closely at the mint marks, the details on the reverse side, and any potential errors. Use a magnifying glass or a coin microscope for better clarity. Check for any double die errors, and make sure the coin is in mint condition. No signs of wear, no visible scratches, and no discoloration. The better the condition, the higher the value. Brenner's initials, VDB, on the reverse at its base, were deemed too prominent once the coins were issued, and were removed within days of the release. The initials were restored, this time smaller, on Lincoln's shoulder in 1918. Originally struck in 95% copper, the cent coin was changed for 1 year to zinc-coated steel in 1943 as copper was needed to aid in the war effort. The mint then reverted to 95% copper until 1982, when inflation made copper too expensive and the composition was changed to zinc with an outer copper layer. Brenner's wheat reverse was replaced in 1959 by a depiction of the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo for the sesquicentennial of his birth year. The Lincoln Memorial reverse was itself replaced in 2009 by 4 commemorative designs marking the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth. Beginning in 2010, Base's shield design was coined as a new collector. You may be wondering, how do I start? Well, one great place to begin is by getting your hands on some 2009 D pennies and studying their features. Collecting coins is an exciting and rewarding hobby, but it takes patience and attention to detail. Be sure to store your coins in protective holders, keep them away from extreme temperatures, and always use proper tools when handling them. That wraps up our deep dive into the 2009 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. We hope you found this video informative and inspiring for your coin collection journey. Remember, you never know. One day, you might discover a coin worth far more than you could have imagined. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more exciting coin discoveries. Thanks for watching Old Coin Z Collection.